Welcome to another episode of the vlog. I've taken the week off work just to have some downtime, and first day off. It's a gloriously sunny autumn day. It's windy, but it is sunny, which is good, and dry. And out for a spin on the bike, trying something different today. I'm not out in the canyon as normal. I'm out on my makeshift gravel bike to see if it works. As you've seen from the intro, I've gone for a little spin on the road, but I'm not on my Canyon today. I'm not on my usual bike, my Canyon Ultimate. I'm on my my winter / training bike that I've kind of sort of modified a bit by sticking some tyres on, try and make it into a bit of a gravel bike. So I'm doing a bit of a hybrid ride this morning to see how it feels riding this bike on the road with the wider tyres on, and also then round forest. So I come over to a forest park nearby, 10 miles away on the road. I'm going to do a couple of loops of the forest park just on this kind of like fire track gravel, so nothing too loose or too intense, but yeah, just a bit of an experiment. But I'll talk more about this kind of Frankenstein's monster of a bike later. For now, I'm going to try some gravel and see how this goes. Oh, it says no entry. Sign over there says no entry. It's a shame. That is Shane's Castle Estate, which is private property. It's also where they filmed some of Game of Thrones. Actually, pretty sure they filmed some of Game of Thrones in this forest that I'm in as well. Okay, so that is 6.5 miles of gravel riding on a road bike done, and now I'm got about. Apologies for that. I forgot to clear the SD card from my Osmo Action before I went out on that ride. All I was going to say was it was another 10 miles back home, and then we'll have a chat about the kind of gravel bike that I was using. So when it came to choosing one of my bikes to try this with, the obvious first choice would be my Canyon. It has plenty of clearance for the wider tyres, it has disc brakes, it fits me really well, so that would be the obvious choice. But taking it off-road onto gravel paths, I really didn't want to get it wrecked, you know, get it chipped with stones and that sort of thing, so I didn't even really entertain that idea because I didn't want to get it wrecked. The other option was my Mech. I have a Mech Poggio 3.0, so it's a carbon frame, light bike, and again fits really well, but didn't have the clearance for the wider tyres. It did around most of the frame, but not at the top of the brake calipers, it's rim brake. So that left the Carrera, so I thought I'd give it a go. And actually the Carrera had pretty good clearance all round. There's a couple of spots maybe where the clearance isn't great, and I'll get to that shortly. So Carrera, aluminium frame, has the clearance that I needed. Downside is it doesn't really fit me as a bike. It's a bit on the big side, and I'm reaching quite a bit. It doesn't feel very comfortable. So ultimately I went with the Carrera as the kind of makeshift gravel bike. When I say makeshift gravel bike, all I've done is stick on some knobbly 30mm tyres. They are cyclocross tyres. I haven't changed the gear setup, I haven't changed anything else. Literally all I could do was stick on a set of tyres. And how did it perform? Well, it was kind of a ride of two halves. First half on the road, second half on gravel, or rather, first third on the road, a little bit of gravel, and then the end on the road. And on the road, the bike kind of felt heavy and sluggish and not great, but I don't think that's anything to do with the 30mm cyclocross tyres. I think that's more to do with the fact that I'm used to riding Canyon Ultimate with DA2 electronic gears, which feels light and nimble and responsive compared to just an aluminium frame. So I don't think that's anything to do with the tyres, that's just the bike. Like I said, it also didn't feel great on the road because it doesn't really fit me. Basically the frame's too big for me. It didn't feel very comfortable on the road. But then when I took it around the fire track, around the forest, it felt great. It was so much fun. I think you feel faster, even though you're going slower, you feel faster because you're more closed in with trees and stuff around you, and the surface is uneven, and it felt really good fun. I was out of the saddle a lot more, so perhaps the reach and the fact that the bike didn't fit me wasn't quite so important. But yeah, it was really good fun when I was in around the forest. So it actually performed pretty admirably. The things are not great. There is clearance for the tyres. I've got 30mm cross tyres on here. I wouldn't get anything wider or bigger than that on, definitely not. And there is clearance around most parts of the frame. Most parts of the frame I probably have 10mm or so. There are a couple of parts, however, where I really only have sort of 2 or 3mm. Around the top of the brake calipers and at the chainstays, the clearance is really only about 2 to 3mm, which, if I'm sticking to kind of fire track and light gravel, that's fine. but if there's anything muddy, or if a stick or a stone or something went up in there, it could be problematic. So the clearance isn't great. Other things that I would need to do if I was really going to take this seriously as a gravel bike is I would probably change it for mountain bike pedals, probably SPDs, and mountain bike shoes, so that I can get on and off without my cleats getting all muddied up. Currently it's Look pedals on there, and as long as I'm tackling fairly flat gravel and the gearing and everything is okay. So I mean, all in all it was okay, but I'm probably not going to do loads of gravel riding on this bike. Again, not because it performed poorly on the gravel, but just because the bike doesn't really fit me. The thing about gravel bike in the part of Northern Ireland that I live in, we have forest parks, we have some kind of places where you can go and you can kind of ride gravel or ride off-road on a road bike or a gravel bike, but they're not really connected up. So for example, the ride in this vlog, I had to ride 10 miles and then do, I did 2 or 3 loops of the forest park, which totaled about 6 miles, and then ride 10 miles home. So really, if I want to ride to somewhere and ride some gravel and ride home, I'm going to be spending 3/4 of my time on the road. So for a gravel bike in my part of Northern Ireland, I would want something that's probably good on the road as well, and needs to be comfortable for me on the road. And that is not this bike. So I guess ultimately, to answer the question, can you convert a regular old rim brake bike into a bit of a gravel grinder? Well, yes you can, to a degree. Really all you're doing is sticking on some tyres, and as long as you have the clearance you can do it. It's not ideal, but it's probably a cheap way to do some gentle off-road trails. I wouldn't be taking this on anything muddy or taking it on any single track, pretty much just fire track. So can you do it? Yes. If you have a spare bike lying around and want to give it a go, yeah, just make sure you have the clearance, probably 4 or 5 mils clearance around the tyres would be ideal, and give it a go and see how you get on. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit like, leave me a comment down below, and as always, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.